If you watch this video, chances are you're a student who wants to make an academic comeback this semester. And if that's you, you're in the right place. I got you, bro. I got you. Last semester, I got a 4.0 GPA by only studying 2-3 hours every single morning, and that made me a different person. I'm telling you, I was so happy about my goal. I gained so much confidence because at the start of the semester, I had this goal in mind of getting a 4.0, a perfect grade, and guess what? I did it, and it was amazing. My family was so happy for me, my friends were so excited for me, and I also got a cake for that. So I'm telling you, it's definitely worth it, and I'm gonna tell you how I did it. And guess what? This semester, I wanna do it all over again. And I'm also challenging you to do this accomplishment. But first, let me show you my main three things, my main three pillars of the strategy that got me a 4.0 GPA by only studying 2 hours in the morning. Now, before telling you the first lesson, let me tell you a bit of context about my story. So most of my time in education system, I didn't enjoy being here. I didn't enjoy, going to school. If I had a button that allowed me to drop out, I would have pressed that a long while ago. But social pressure, family pressure, even the government wants you to be in school. And you know what? I said, all right, let's do it. Now, for a long while, I didn't want to be in school. I didn't want to go to school. And only in the 11th grade, I discovered that school can actually be a playground, a prototype, where I can test my strategies, be as a more efficient person and a better person. And it worked, I got better and better by doing this stuff. And in my first uni semester, things started to go well, right? But I didn't know that the first lesson I'm gonna give you is choose the fun classes and teachers. Choose the fun. Go where the fun is. I'm not telling you to be degenerate and go to parties and do all this destructive stuff. I'm telling you to choose the fun classes, the classes that are more interesting. Because I didn't truly understand this lesson back in my first semester. I had the bio class that I chose back then, and it was a mess. It's my only B from the entire college experience, and not that the teacher was bad, but I didn't enjoy the class, the subject. And I even remember right now, every single time when I went there, after 10 minutes I started napping there. Even my friends there always saw me. I think they even took me a picture, and it was so funny. Like, I was always groggy when I went there. I was sleepy. I used to sleep during the class, and it was a mess. I had such a hard time getting that B, and the lesson that I learned is that you gotta choose what is fun and what you like. Now, fast forward last semester, I made sure to apply that rule. I had like 6 classes that I had enjoyed. Everything, had like a topic that I was curious, and I got, I don't know if lucky is the right word, but the teachers were amazing. And guess what? 4.0 GPA by only studying 2 hours every single day in the morning. I was efficient, but this is something a lot of people don't talk about, is choosing the classes that you're finding fun. A lot of people just say, yeah, choose those classes because they're gonna help you in your career and shit like that. Now it's not gonna happen. I'm telling you, when you do something that you like, it's gonna be easier to show up than to not show up. And I want you to understand this. There's 2 ways, there's maybe more ways, but 2 ways that the people in general want to use on you when you're in college and in the education system. One is grinding mode, doing the most annoying classes, taking on challenges. I'm not sure if that's most efficient. What worked for me, it was to choose the classes that I found interesting, and also the clubs, the activities, everything that you find interesting, that you find fun. It's gonna be a lot more, simpler and easier for you to make progress and achieve your goals. So this is lesson number 1. Choose the fun classes and the professors that are fun. You can check on Rate My Professor, you can talk with colleagues, but usually what I found is that most teachers are really nice if you are a nice person as well. And what I want to tell you, because I remember, most of my teachers didn't have a good rating on Rate My Professor or Corsical, I think. But this is because most students are like average. Most students don't like school in general. They don't want to do anything with their life fun. So even if you have like a professor that has a bad writing, make sure you really try and understand how the writer look like, And most of the times for me, professors that had bad ratings, they were so fun in real life. And they had their own personality. They were like, in the Matrix, the NPC professor who everyone likes because it's very polite, very correct and all that stuff. I really like professors who bring on their own passion and their own character, because you see how people work in the society, in the real world. When you're gonna be, in the real world, you're gonna start your own business or have a job, that's gonna be the reality, right? No one's gonna stick to the rules. And I think that's a good training for Now, if you wanna get access to a bunch of modules on how to choose your classes and how to make sure you have a fun time in uni. First in the description, my community. First 7 founding members will get accountability for me and we'll talk there. So first in the description and I'll see you inside. The second lesson that I got from my 4.0 semester is to choose discomfort over comfort. And you may be hearing this a lot. A lot of people don't just do it. It's nice to have a quote on Instagram where choose discomfort. Pain is the killer of comfort or whatever, but you gotta do it. It's not just the words, alright? It's not just the words. And I have this favorite quote from an author. I think his name is David Deida. It says something like, lean just beyond your age. So I think that's the sweet spot where you wanna be for your entire life. It's a place where you're not feeling in comfort, but you're not also in like extreme discomfort, so you're gonna burn out or give up or start crying. You wanna be at the border, a bit with one step in the next country, in the next challenge. So one of the challenges for me was to wake up early, so I had the time to study in the morning and then have time for other activities. Now how I did this, at first, I just switched my schedule completely. I said, tomorrow I'm gonna change, I'm gonna be a different person, I'm gonna wake up at 5. It didn't work. And I had to learn this the hard way. And maybe if you go to the gym, I'm gonna give you an analogy so you can understand how you can apply this in every aspect of your life. It's called progressive overload. If you're going to the gym today, if you're a newbie, a starting person, you're gonna start with 5 pounds. Today, 10 pounds next week, 15 pounds 2 weeks from now, and you're gonna just, raise the weight every single time. That's progressive overload. The same thing I want you to use in every single task that you're gonna do in your life. This is leaning beyond your edge, is doing progressive overload. Raising the weight just a bit so it's slightly discomfort, but it's gonna make you grow. It's gonna make you grow your muscles, it's gonna make you wake up earlier. So what I did is that instead of setting my alarm directly to 4 p.m., I started from 6, that was my usual waking up time, and then 5:30 for a week, and then 5 for the next week, and then 4:30 for the next week, and just like that. It took me a couple of weeks to have this system in place. It wasn't perfect when I started, I'm telling you, it wasn't perfect, but the fact that I had let my ego down, I didn't have pride in myself, arrogance or stuff like that, I admitted that I'm not at the level that is required for me to wake up at 4 directly. So I had to grow the level by lowering the threshold with 30 minutes every single time, and that worked for me. And this is the lesson that I got. So just lean beyond your edge. If you want to do the exact system that I did and it's required for you to wake up early because you have classes at 8 or 9, then I think this is what you need to do as well. Now I'm gonna give you a couple more examples that I did so you can have like more stuff in your mind that you can apply. One thing is that I used to be more active. I was scared of raising my hands, those things, because I didn't want to make a mistake. But guess what? I just leaned a bit beyond my edge. I started raising hands one time next the other time, and this is how I build that confidence and that competence in myself, and I got better results because a lot of the learning I did in class, and that was a big advantage for me. I think a lot of people don't really touch on this, but I promise you, this is like super important to know. A lot of learning can be done in class. That's why you only require 2-3 hours a day in the morning for a 4.0, for being a top student, an excellent student, because a lot of the learning is done in class, and you gotta do this. Now, the next thing that I did was that instead of sitting in the last row where there's a bunch of distraction, you see people around you, you see laptops and other people chatting and talking, I started to sit in the first 2-3 rows depending on the class size, so I can see the entire table, the entire screen. And I'm telling you, there were less distractions. I got more eye contact with the professor even when I raised my hand and all that stuff. It was such an amazing experience, and usually people don't sit there in the first 2-3 rows. They don't sit there, so there's not going to be much competition for you to sit there. Even if, let's say, you have some friends in the class, it's going to be a lot more fun, not for distraction, but for actually making the learning experience more fun, more entertaining, and also learning in class. So I think you just want to find these sweet spots where you can lean beyond your edge and get this advantage, because this is going to also make you more efficient in learning and getting that 4.0. So yeah, I have a lot more strategies like this in my modules. First in the description, my school community. There I have a bunch of modules on how you can study more efficient and actually put this in place. You're also gonna, if you're gonna be a founding member, you're gonna have access to me for daily accountability and chats, and we can find a sweet spot for you, that strategy that you can apply for the rest of the semester. So first in the description, and I'll see you inside. And the last thing that I did, and you may heard this before, but I'm telling you, it's a very important thing that you need to do. If there's one thing that I want you to take from this video, is that I want you to be consistent. You probably heard about the power of compounding, about the power of interest rates at the bank, where if you put $50, it's gonna be worth millions in 50 years when you're gonna be dead. But I'm telling you, that works even better when you try to study. And what I did, as I told you, I didn't have this perfect strategy when I first started the semester as it was with my sleeping schedule, but I developed that over time. So what matters the most is that you show up every single day. I'm telling you, you may be, of course everyone gives you this advice. Everyone is like the first advice in every self-improvement book, in every book on self-help. If you ask any advisor, this is the first advice that they give you. A lot of people don't do it because they just think it's not important. I'm telling you, this is the most important advice. If there's one thing that you get from my whole channel, my all videos, from the whole channel, is you have to be consistent. That's the first step. Of course, then you have to have the right strategies and stuff like that. But if you are at level 0, you gotta be consistent. And I'm telling you, learning is like planting a seed. When you're in class and you learn a new concept, it's like planting a seed. Active recall, doing the past papers, doing all the work is watering the seeds. So as you know, with plants, you don't have to water them too much because they're gonna die, or too less because they're also gonna die. You're gonna find that middle point. So I found that for myself is 2-3 hours a day, and all that putting the water at the plant, at the seed, which is learning, doing after recall, you know, doing past papers based on what you learn in the class, in your assignments, is gonna be a lot way easier for you. I don't want you to read 10 times, I don't want you to highlight, I don't want you to take sticky notes. Those things don't really work. I'm telling you, those things is like, I don't know, scrolling on Instagram, because you wanna use your brain. You wanna make sure your brain is used at maximum capacity, because first thing in the morning, your mind is sharp and the information is gonna be more stickier. It's gonna be more easier for you to understand and do all that stuff. So I want you to plant water every single day on your seeds. I want you to learn and, you know, practice every single day. Even if it's like, let's say in the weekends, you don't want to study 2 hours, you only want to study half an hour. Just do it. I'm telling you, that's going to make a big difference. Just do it even for 15 minutes, for 30 minutes. Ideally, you should do it 2-3 hours every single day. Doesn't matter if it's weekend, if it's celebration, if it's Christmas, you're going to be there because you want to prepare. Of course, Christmas is not in during the semester, but let's say it's Thanksgiving Day. You still want to take 2 hours because you have time. Don't bullshit me. You're going to have time. Even if you're like on your car, you can grab your phone, do some Quizlets and stuff like that. Just do something, all right? Just do something every single day. And that's very important, guys. I want you to take this seriously. I want you to change your life, because I don't want you to watch these videos, watch YouTube videos like you watch a show, a binge show on Netflix. You know, I don't want you to do that. I want you to watch these videos. I want you to apply what I'm telling you, and I want you to see results. Now, if you want to become a founding member in my community and get access to accountability from me, if you want to have access to modules and all that stuff, first link in the description, check that out, and I'll see you inside. Now, we're here for the most important part of the clip, which is the action points. And there's 3 action points that I want you to take from this video. First thing, I want you to choose fun classes and fun teachers, all right? I want you to, at least, if you can, you know, predict the teachers, just choose the fun classes, the classes that you're gonna find interesting. Secondly, I want you to lean beyond your edge. Keep this in mind. Lean beyond your edge. Even if it might be sitting in the front rows, raising your hands, making a friend, or I don't know, whatever it might be, going to office hours, whatever it might be, I want you to lean beyond your edge. And the third thing, I want you to show up every single day, all right? I want you to show up every single day, because that's gonna make the difference. That's gonna be like mind changing. It's gonna make you a better person overall, not just with studying, which is gonna be great. You're gonna have 4.0 GPA, but also in the other areas of your life. So join my community if you wanna become a founding member and have chats with me, accountability there, and access to modules and courses. And there's one more thing that I want to tell you guys. As always, win your mornings and conquer your grades.